All right, so this is what? And this is Quiz 1 study guide. All right, we got number 1 and 2 here. Just what is the solution to each equation? So all right, so distributive property first. And then it's going to be a combined like terms. So the 2h minus the h, that's just h, minus 12 equals h minus 12. All right, so hopefully you recognize that. Infinite solutions. That's an identity problem, right? Number 2 is 14 minus 4z. 6 minus 4z. All right, this kind of looks like a mess already because you got a negative 4z on each side, but I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to subtract 6 from each side. So 8 minus 4z equals negative 4z. If you add 4z to each side, this cancels. This all becomes a 0, and you get 8 equals 0. And that's not possible, so that's a no solution. Yes. I personally would write it on notes on a clean piece of paper. And then look. Look. Then you've got your study guide, and in your notes, clean, you've got all the work written out, right? Then if you go back to your study guide and you want to work some problems, you don't have all the work all over your study guide. It's just a clean study guide. All right, so that was number 1 and 2 of the multiple guess. And then we're going to go to the short answer. And I'm recording this, and I'll post it to YouTube here after when we're done. So if you missed some stuff early on, you can go back and get it. So 3.2x. So we're going to subtract 3.4. So we get 3.2x equals 12.8. And then divide both sides by 3.2. X equals 4. On number 2 here, going to add 4 to each side. So 4/5 x is going to be equal to 10. All right, fraction in front of the variable. When you have a fraction in front of the variable and you've isolated the variable on one side, the technique you use to solve for x is to multiply both sides of this equation by the reciprocal of this fraction. So if you multiply both sides by 5/4, over over here on the left, 5/4 times 4/5, it equals 1. All right, it equals 1x, but you don't write the 1 in front of the x, do you? So it's there because all of this canceled out. And if you do 10 times 5/4, you get 12.5. So 12.5 is equal to x. Ten times 5/4. If you do it long way, you get 10 times 5 is 50. 1 times 4 is 4. 50 divided by 4 is 12.5. All right, number 3, looks like Steven wants to buy a $565 bike. He has no money. That sounds about normal. But will be able to deposit $35 into savings account when he receives his paycheck each Friday. So 35 per probably week if he gets paid every week. You make that much, Andrew? Dang, all 35 a week? Attaboy. However, before Steven can buy the bike, he must give his sister the $65 that he owes her. So 65 goes to sis. All right. For how many weeks will Steven need to deposit money into his savings account before he can pay back his sister and buy the bike? Nah, well, it says he can deposit 35 a week. So I don't know how much he's making. If he owes his dang sister $65, he ain't making much. Borrow $65 from your sister. So here's the equation. He needs $565. So you're going to make that equal to $35 a week. But he's got to subtract $65 from that $35 a week, right? Because he's got to pay it to his sister. So there's your setup. So if you solve for W, that's going to tell you how many weeks he needs to put money in the bank. So if you add 65 to each side, so 565 plus 65, that's 630 he needs total, and he gets 35 a week. So if you divide that by 35, that's 18 weeks. All right. Now, I don't know how good of a memory y'all have, but, and I'm not trying to confuse you, but if you did this problem, all right, and your answer came out to like 18.2 instead of 18, then how many weeks does he have to save? Don't choose 18. In that 18th week, when he deposits that money, he ain't going to have 630. He's 0.2 weeks away from having it, isn't he? So how many weeks does he need to save? He's got to save 19 weeks. He's got to save one more week to have that 630 bucks. All right, it happens all the time. One answer is going to be A, another answer is going to be, or this may be A, this might be B, you know, C's whatever, D's whatever. But you're going to have two answers like that when this works out to a decimal. You'll see chaperones on a field trip problem. All right. If it goes over that total number that you need, you got to go to the next week. He's got to save longer. 18 weeks only gives him 630 bucks. All right. So number 4. 25 equals 7 plus z over 5. All right, going to multiply both sides by 5. That way these 5s cancel. So 125 equals 7 plus z, and then subtract 7. So 118 equals z. Number 5 is b plus 6 over 3 equals 9. So in this problem, you do the same technique. You multiply by the denominator. So multiply by 3 and multiply by 3. These 3's cancel. B plus 6 equals 27. Subtract 6 from each side. And B equals 21. All right, in number 6, look, when you see multiple variables on one side of the equal sign, combine them first. You got to combine these right here. So -1 equals -6p plus 7p is just p minus 8. Combine. So now you can add 8 to each side. -1 plus 8, 7 equals p. And then number 7 is 3x plus 2 minus 2x equals -2. Again, you're going to combine 3x minus 2x, that equals x, plus 2 equals -2. Subtract 2 from each side, and x equals -4. Number 8, got a 4d plus d. Oh my lord, a lot of d's. 4d plus d plus 3d minus 8 plus 2d. Nope, that's minus 2d. Minus 2d equals 0. You got to combine all these d's. So a 4d plus a 1d is 5d plus 3d, 8d minus 2d, 6d. Takes care of all your d's. That one, that one, that one, and that one. You drop down your minus 8, and it's equal to 0. You can add 8 to each side. So your 6d is equal to 8. Don't start acting up on me, pen. and you can divide both sides by 6. Eight divided by 6. 1.33. That's either 4/3 or 1.33. Number 9, John and 3 friends are going out for pizza for lunch. So there's 4 of them. They split 1 pizza and 4 large drinks. All right, the pizza costs 14. They spent a total of $20.80. Find the cost of 1 large drinks. So what did they buy? They split 1 pizza and 4 large drinks. The pizza cost 14. So 14 plus, that's the pizza, plus the 4 large drinks equals the total. That's your pizza plus your drinks. And I'm doing it 4 large. I could have used 4D. In this case, I'm just going to leave the L here. The L represents the drinks. So if you subtract the $14 from each side, then your 4 large drinks equal 20.8 minus 14, 680. If you divide both sides by 4, then each large drink equals $1.70. All right, number 10. Number 10, let's see what's going on here. Angela and Neil, they're going to the movies. They each bought a medium popcorn. So they got 2 popcorns. Neil got a small soft drink. So they got 1 drink. Angela had a $20 gift certificate. We're going to call this a gift certificate to put towards the cost. Neil paid the rest, which came to $6.20. So Neil paid $6.20. Movie ticket cost $7, and a medium popcorn cost $5.20. So how much does a soft drink cost? Where's the drink? Right here. So that's what we're looking to find. All right, so let's see what happened here. Let me read this again. Movie ticket costs $7. So how much do they need for tickets? Think about it for a second. For the tickets, they're $7 each, so $14 for the tickets, right? Okay. She had a gift. Let's see, $14 for the tickets. Then Neil paid the $6.20. Medium popcorn. How many popcorns did they get? They each bought a medium popcorn. The medium popcorns are $5.20. So $5.20 times 2 is 10.40 for popcorn. So far they're into this thing for $14 for the tickets. Neil paid $6.20. They paid $10.40 for popcorn. And they got a gift card, and it was $20. This is confusing. Yeah, I know. It's just, it gets to where it doesn't make any sense to me. All right? So what we got to do is set something equal to what Neil had to pay. Right? So the popcorns, they only bought one drink. They only bought one drink. So this drink plus the $14 for tickets plus the $10.40 for popcorn minus the $20 gift card is all equal to the $6.20 that Neil paid. Right? Does that make sense? Yeah, kind of.
I think they'll make it more confusing because the $20 will go with the $6 since that's what the total pay.
The gift card. Angela had a $20 gift card to put towards the cost, and Neil paid the rest. Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Yeah, because you end up doing D plus 14 plus 10.4 equals 26.20.
Well, that's just what's going to end up happening, I think, in the long run. Let's see what happens. This D, what do we got? 14 plus 10.4 minus 20. 14 plus 10.4 minus 20. That's 4.4 equals the 6.2. If you subtract 4.4 from each side, then we got a drink that cost 6.2 minus 4.4. $1.80. Yeah, all that for $1.80. That's a question that, seeing that right now, when I saw that question on the quiz tomorrow, I would just skip it. And then at the very end, I would go back. All right? And you want to know the easiest way to do this one on your quiz tomorrow? Is take your answers and substitute them. Just fill them in for the drink. You know what I mean? Take the price of the ticket plus the price of the popcorn plus anything else that they spent and see which answer works. All right? That'll save you a lot more time. All right, so let's move on. That took way too long. Number 11. 2 times y plus 2 is equal to 10. Distributive property again. So 2y plus 4 is equal to 10. Subtract 4 from each side. So 2y equals 6. And divide both sides by 2. Y is equal to 3. $12.42 equals -7 times -2 minus 2z. Distributive property again. -7 times -2 is positive 14. -7 times -2z is positive 14z. So if you subtract 14 from each side, 42 minus 14, that's 28, equals 14z. You can divide both sides by 14. And 2 equals z. Number 13. 2p over 6 plus 11 equals 21. Subtract 11 from each side. So this 2p over 6 is equal to 21 minus 11, that's 10. Now, when you're right here, this is considered a fraction in front of a variable. This is the same as 2/6 p. So multiply both sides by 6 over 2. This will all cancel out. And your p equals 10 times 6 over 2. That's 30. Number 14. 2x minus 8 equals 4x plus 4. Subtract 2x from each side. Don't forget your negative sign right there. Negative 8 equals 2x plus 4. Subtract 4 from each side. Negative 12 equals 2x. And then you can divide by 2. So negative 6 equals x. Number 15, we got 4x plus 3 equals 4 plus 5x. I'm gonna subtract 4x from each side. 3 equals 4. Then you got positive 5x minus 4x. That's just a positive x. Subtract 4 from each side. 3 minus 4, that's negative 1, is equal to x. All right, another long, wordy word problem, but there's just not as many numbers in it. So the camera manufacturer spends $22.50 each day for overhead expenses plus $9 per camera for labor and materials. $22.50 a day plus $9 per camera. The cameras sell for $15 each. How many cameras must the company sell in one day to equal its daily costs? If the manufacturer can increase production by 50 cameras a day, what would their daily profit be? So look, this company spends $2,250 a day just to open up, plus $9 per camera. That's what they spend. Well, their break-even point is going to be 15 times the number of cameras that they sell. In business, that's the number one thing you got to know is what's your break-even point. What do I got to sell each day just so I can pay my bills? And you got to add your salary to it. All right? You got to know how to break even. If you don't know how to break even, you don't know what you're doing. You're going to go out of business. So the first thing we got to do here is find out how many cameras they got to sell each day to break even. So if we subtract the 9C from each side, then our 2250 equals, we're going to find out the first question, how many cameras must the company sell in a day to equal its daily cost? You got to find your break-even point first. So 15 minus 9 is 6C. So 2250 divided by 6, 375. We're going to divide each side by 6. So 375 equals C. They got to sell 375 cameras to break even in one day. Second part of the question, it said if they can increase production by 50 cameras a day, what would their daily profit be? If they crank this up and do 50 more cameras, all right, they've still got this. What does it say? What would their daily profit be? So if they make 50 more cameras, $9 per camera, let's see here, 375 is their break-even point. So what are they making? They're not making $6 a camera. They're just breaking even. They're going to increase production by 50. So let's see what happens if $15 per camera. Is it if they increase it by, camera sales are 15 each. How many cameras? They got to do 375. If the manufacturer can increase production by 50 cameras per day, what would their daily profit be? So at $15 per camera, they got to do 375 of them to break even. If they increase that, so we need to change this to 425. Well, it would be their daily, they still got the 2250, right? Plus 9 times the 50 more cameras. Right. So what's it, $300? So let's see if I can do this mathematically. The 2250 stays the same, right? Yeah. Your 2250 stays the same. And if you sell a camera for $15, when you subtract your cost of $9 per camera, you're making $6 per camera, right? But for 375 cameras, it's got to go towards this 2250. So if you sell 50 more, at $6 a camera, you're making another $300, right? Yeah. I don't know, not really. Yes and no. It depends. All right, and then number 17 right over here. Last one. -2. -8x minus 6 equals negative sign in front of the parentheses. -2x plus 2. All right, so this is distributive property on both sides. -2 times -8x, that's 16x. And -2 times -6 is positive 12. Remember I said earlier that when that negative is outside the parentheses, it merely means a -1 is out here. So you got to distribute it. -1 times -2x is positive 2x. And -1 times positive 2 is -2. So then you can subtract 2x from each side. So 14x plus 12 equals -2. You can subtract 12 from each side. So your 14x equals -14. And then divide by 14. So your x equals -1. Okay, so that concludes your Quiz 1 study guide. You guys at home are excused from the Zoom meeting at this time. I will post your quiz under that resources tab later today. You're going to open your quiz under the resources tab and you're going to print it and take it. And when you're done with it, you're going to go under the alerts tab. You're going to open quiz 1 and you're going to transfer your answers. That's your process for tomorrow. If you don't understand that process, then go ahead and email me and I'll explain it to you again. So for right now, I'm going to stop this video.